Oh, you know it's off the change.
And we are back. That is our studio break, our commercial break. We want to thank our sponsors again every week, Kristy. And if you want to be a sponsor for our show, offthechange@gmail.com. Offthechange@gmail.com. Don't spell THE because that ain't the way it's spelled. It's OFFDACHANGE at gmail.com. It's like your grandmama spelled it. All right. So, Kristy.
Yes, sir.
Folks in the country got their stimulus. You think everybody gonna spend it right?
Oh, you know, they're not going to spend it right. Like you said earlier, they're going to be at the Hilltop Mall in Richmond trying to buy the new Jordans.
Hey, in line for the new Jordans. I was looking online. So I ain't gonna lie, I was on the GOAT app. I was looking at some things. I had to catch myself. I just put in my Robinhood account.
Right.
But,
they're not going to do penny stocks. They're not doing no kind of investment.
Nobody gonna buy no life insurance.
Interest earning savings account.
This would kill me about my people. I'm telling you, I get, culturally. Our people, we wait to buy like life insurance until we on the deathbed. Then we try to buy it then. Like we try to buy it right then from the ventilator. Like I think I need some life insurance. and try to get it from there. Grandmama, it's too late. It's done. Whatever's in your bed, that's what we getting. So I think we should have some people on here today for our listeners, for Off the Change family, to give them some advice. What you think?
I think that's an awesome idea for the start of 2021, and especially because everybody got that stimmy money.
That's right. That's right. What you got for us today?
All right. So we've got Alex and Rodney from Evolution. Go ahead and tell them about what it is that you do and what you want to talk about today.
Alex and Rodney, proper introduction, Off the Chain.
Woo, woo! Hey. Welcome, guys.
Man, it's a pleasure. Pleasure to be on.
Good.
Yeah. How's everybody doing?
We good, man. Awesome. We Off the Change. It's the second episode of the new year. We ready. We ready for this to be a better year. We ready to make some money. I need you to show me how.
Absolutely.
There it is.
All right. Learn.
Absolutely.
Got that knowledge.
Well, Rodney Ferrell here from Evolution, guys, and basically what we are, Accelerator out here in the Sacramento marketplace that spans obviously throughout California. What we do is we help entrepreneurs and through our knowledge and wisdom with coaching, connecting them to capital and helping them capitalize, basically helping them structure their business correctly so they can build basically generational wealth. And I would love for Mr. Alex Chompf to go ahead and, tell a little bit about his experience and wisdom as well in the space.
All right, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah,
welcome.
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Honored to be here. Rodney, always a pleasure to serve alongside you, sir. And love what you guys are doing here.
Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned that the stimulus checks are coming in, huh?
Yes,
yes. Yeah.
They've come. Some of them got them. Some of them gone. We need to help those who ain't bought new shoes yet. We need to help them.
Well, it's about time, and there needs to be more. Yeah. No mistake about it. Yeah. You know that here in the United States in particular, the middle class has been flatlined.
I was going to say, what is that now? There's no middle. It's either the have and have nots.
Yeah, the middle class has been flatlined, right? Lots of data shows that.
Yeah.
And that's related to this idea of ownership. There's this concept of an ownership class, and the ownership class gets an outsized return compared to people whose primary product is labor.
So the outsized return means what?
It means that when profits come back to a business, whatever your profits are, you're a regular business and you make $10,000 in profit this year.
Right.
Okay. So some of the money goes back to the people who put up the capital for the business. Might have been, it's usually the owner. 95% of the time, it's the owners, it's their friends and family, it's a bank loan,
Right.
But some of that money goes back to service the cost of capital. And what's, left over goes back to the people who made the work happen.
Right.
Did the work, right? Who opened the doors and picked it up and, said hello to the customers, and whose primary offering was a service of some kind.
Right.
So if that's your life, and that's my life, and that's most people that I know's lives, then you can kind of stuck for 20 years. You could feel it, but you didn't necessarily understand why. And that's because this concept of ownership has become separated from you, me, us, we own this joint. It's our joint. It's our house.
Right.
This whole thing is ours, and we have the right to own the source of our own wealth. We have the right to own the output of our labor. Right?
That's important. That's important. A lot of people think
Absolutely.
they don't have the right to ownership, or they just it's not in their purview, and it is. Yeah.
It's right. It's a birthright. It comes with the ticket. Welcome. You know, glad you got here. Don't care how you got here. Now that you're here, ownership is your right. And you're never going to make a better investment than you make in yourself.
Right. That's
Very
right.
best investment.
Absolutely right.
That's a nugget right there. Yes, definitely.
So spot on. So those stimulus checks should be ultimately an investment in their future, or something that they have ownership or equity in, opposed to spending it on something that's a consumable product that there's no value and no return, etc.
Right.
Well,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know, I'm not going to judge somebody else's definition of value. That's a personal thing. What you value and what you're willing to pay for is an individual decision, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
But if you have some money left over, even a little bit of money, a tiny little bit of money, and you're wondering, what can I do with this? You might consider investing it in yourself.
Yes.
You might consider creating a business for less than $1,000. And
Say that again, Alex, because I don't think they heard that.
They didn't hear you.
Start your own business for less than what?
$1,000.
$1,000. And people was buying PS5s and everything from way more than that. So you could have had your own business.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'd say, you know, a lot of you know, people, definitely for less than a weekend in Tahoe, you can have your own business.
Right. Right. Preach, Alex. Preach.
And
weekend at Big Mama house. Whatever you at. Yeah.
you know, once you have your own business, then, you know, a whole world of possibilities open up to you.
Right.
Yes. You know, from taking some of the regular everyday expenses that are part of your life, because if you're like me, you're working every day, you're hustling.
So I know people, let me say, Alex, that are doing meal prep, making masks. They did a whole bunch of businesses and business ideas that they don't even know that they could have made an LLC, S corp, whatever they wanted to do in that time in COVID. They used to make a lot of money and hustle that they could have created a business coming out of COVID.
Yeah,
so that's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, one of the things that, you know, a good hustler is going to find is that they're making good cash flow, but then when it comes time at the end of the year to pay the bill, the tax bill is unusually high. Like, what, really? Didn't feel like that. Yeah, and that's because a lot of the time you're absorbing your business expenses into your personal wallet.
We just had our first guest talk about that today.
Exactly just that.
That exact thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's, you know, one of the privileges of owning a business in this country today.
Write it off. Yeah.
The ability to say, hey, that's a valid business expense. I was hustling. I was trying to make money here.
Yeah.
And while I was trying to make money, I had to use my car. I had to take people out to eat. I had to buy supplies. I had to do all kind of stuff. But that's the expense side. So there's plenty of benefits of ownership in terms of writing off expenses. But what about all the value that you create? What about the great ideas that you come up with? What about the relationships that you have in your life that commercialize every day into something for someone else?
Right.
Correct. Because it is space and time is money.
Why don't you save some of that value for yourself? Why don't you turn that into income for yourself? And better yet, why don't you encapsulate it in a vehicle that you can maintain for a low cost and pass along, subdivide, take investment in, multiply, copy, sell, right? I mean, hustling takes time, energy, brains.
Yeah.
And
but you said something very important about passing that along. So, you know, like we laugh in the hood about, you know, basically white folks have a reading of the will. We have a reading of the bills, because when we die, we left with everything that they did. There's no will. There's nothing to, you know, no generational wealth to pass on. So that's important that people can do that, and people need to think more like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's really nothing like the return to capital. The return to capital is really quite amazing.
Yeah.
And you can create your own capital structure in the form of an LLC or a corporation or an S corporation. There are many forms and variations, but you can take your brain power and your relationships, your knowledge of a product and market fit, your ability to take things from one point to another at a profit, and turn those into booked value that has financial statements, that saves you money every year while still allowing you to earn, allows you to probably charge more.
Yeah.
Right.
You have a personal
Mhm.
brand. Yeah. Your personal brand might be worth
Mhm.
something. You know, the off the change brand is probably
Mhm.
worth something. Right.
It's gonna be worth it's worth $1 billion to me. Somebody else gotta say it though first.
That's right. So how are you going to license that? How are you going to license that and sell it when somebody else wants to use it? And how is that license going to hold value over time and be not just for you, but for your family? And in the meantime, I hope you're using what you're making to build wealth and value in your community.
Right.
Mhm. Right.
Yes.
This is
Absolutely.
America. We own the joint.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's
Thanks for
good.
the
Yeah.
reminder. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Don't forget, yeah, you own this place. It's yours. This is the greatest experiment ever. And you are lucky enough to be here. And doesn't matter how you got here. It's yours.
That's right.
Let's
That's
build
right.
it and keep a piece for yourself. Stake it out. Doesn't cost much. It's easy to do. If you know what you're doing, you can start with 10 million shares, and they can have a value of less than 1 penny per share, 1/100th of a penny, maybe 1/1000th of a penny.
Mhm.
A couple of let's call it years of good work and hustle, those same shares can be worth $1 each.
So now you have 10 million.
Right.
Wow.
And that's your sweat equity in there.
Wow.
Mhm.
Somebody home right now doing the math. Like, wait a minute. Hold on. A penny, less than a penny to the dollar. Wait,
Right.
I know what a dollar is. I know what a dollar is. And 10 million of those is $10 million. That's okay. Yeah.
In order
Yeah.
to set up your own, like anybody who's listening to this, you want to go set up your own 10 million certificates, just go down to your Secretary of State, wherever you're located, file a simple form, create a simple business, have 10 million units of shares, doesn't matter what you call them, in that business. And each one of them is going to be valued less than a penny, much less than a penny, because it's just in your head.
Mhm.
How long do you think it's going to take before people are going to want to participate in your brain power and are going to be willing to pay you even 1 penny or a dime or $1 for each share that they get in your enterprise? That's what investment is.
Mhm.
People, that's why they say we invest in the team, we invest in the people. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you said the Secretary of State,
That's
not the school secretary, not no secretary, the Secretary of State, people. And he didn't say nothing about your secretary at work. Don't go ask Miss Gloria, who bring the lunch every day, talking about is a form I need to get 10 million shares. Don't ask Miss Gloria that.
Not Gloria.
Go to Secretary of State, okay? You got to make that point, because tomorrow my people gonna be, man, I went to my secretary. She said she don't know nothing about. So we want to take all that.
Google how to start a business
and find a Secretary of State. That's big.
Yeah.
Rodney, what you got? What you echoing on that? What can you tell us some more nuggets on that?
I mean, I got to double down on everything Alex said, and I would say that a lot of things that people are overlooking is the Internet of Things. You can look at things around the world, and you ask yourself, like, okay, you can complain about a Jeff Bezos, or you can learn from a Jeff Bezos, and you can say, wow, okay, I can now create an internet enterprise and make transactions and commercialize over the internet with a couple of dollars, because the actual price for that awareness is still inexpensive. And here's the deal. I tell people all the time, you got the greatest library in the world. You got Google and you got YouTube, right? You can actually see videos of highly intelligent individuals breaking down exactly what to do, why to do it that way, and how to do it that way, and literally duplicate that model and duplicate that process for little to no revenue, just effort. So I think that we are now in a place where the information is literally right in our palm. We call it our best friend, which is in our pocket.
Absolutely.
Our devices.
Absolutely.
We can learn anything at any time, right now, on the spot. So you got to get to a point where I think mindset of eliminating excuses and just saying, you know what, I'm gonna take ownership of everything, of my knowledge or ignorance that I don't have, and I'm gonna slow it down, and I'm gonna find out where it's at.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that. We talk about growth mindset a lot because growth is growth is one of those things that is uncomfortable, that you're unaware of, and that everybody's afraid of, because they're afraid of the unknown.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you know, I always say if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, it's not going to help you grow.
It's not going to help you grow.
Right. So people are, you know, really fast to be on the phone, to be on social media, to do TikTok videos, to do all these other things, except for doing a lot of actual good research. You know, like you said, it's in the palm of our hands, and all it takes is looking up a URL.
100%. No, the
Right.
wisdom of the world is in our palm now.
Yeah, I used to tell people I know my students, especially when I was a school leader, I say learn 3 new things a day. 3 new things, whether that's a word, that's a video, like you said, learning Spanish, learning how to do anything. Over COVID, since I was in the house, I'm the most non-handiest dude ever. I'm telling you that right now. So I took oil change, all that. I let anybody else do that. I remodeled my house off YouTube videos, man. I learned how to put in toilets. I learned how to everything, drywall, paint. I mean, it's some amazing people on there. Now, it's some craziness on there too. However,
of course,
howsoever, you got to look at what you're doing, and it's amazing things on there, man. So I totally agree. Alex and Rodney, where can everybody find you? Where can find your information, contact, everything?
Absolutely. For a website purposes, if you guys want to see the holistic view of what we do and why we do it, you can go to evolutionaccelerator.com. And that's evolution spelled EVOLUTION, accelerator ACCELERTOR.com. And the Instagram is exactly the same. So you can go there, you can check out some of our content, you can check out, you know, what we've done, and you can either, you know, be a part of the, you know, organization and get coached and get connected with individuals that can help you slingshot your organization and business.
Wonderful,
that's great.
wonderful. Alex, you got anything to add?
Well, I just want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, we thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
And I want to close again with, you know, you don't need anybody's permission to be successful. You don't need anybody's permission to own the rights of your own work. And it doesn't cost very much. And you can really make a big difference. You can grow. The growth potentials in owning your own outputs are very, very excellent. I recommend it to everyone.
I love it. Let me summarize for y'all. Less than $1,000. Secretary of State, not secretary. Evolution Accelerator, y'all. Rodney and Alex, thank y'all so much for being off the change today. We appreciate you. We love you. We trust you. We respect you. Have a great 2021, man. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, stay blessed.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Good luck. Thank you so much.
Bye.
That was fantastic. Now, so I talked earlier, I made a joke about insurance, life insurance, and so forth and so on. But in our own community, and I've seen this young man work. I've seen him do this for years. I've known him for years in other avenues and other things. He's always a hustler, always and a stand-up guy, most professional dude, one of the most professional guys I've ever met in my life since being here in Northern California. And then when I found out he did insurance, then I found out he does his own thing in insurance. That's huge.
Yes, absolutely.
African-American male doing that in insurance. I want everybody and Kristy Nong and our engineer Sharon to meet the wonderful and incomparable Mr. Desmond Owens, everybody. Desmond Owens. Bringing it off the chain.
How you doing?
Off the chain. What's up, Desmond?
What's going on with you, boss?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Man, we're a pleasure you being on Off the Change today, man. We're excited. And when I asked you and you was like, yes, I was like, oh man, we gonna have this the best nugget, you know, ever. So and we want to have him back in other nuggets and other forms along with Alex and Rodney, but I want him to give us a brief overview of what he has for us today and our listeners can learn from.
Hey, you know, Steph, I appreciate the opportunity, because once I started this business, I was all about educating my community, because when I started, I thought I knew what life insurance was, but I realized I really didn't when I started. And I'm like, hey, this is something that I have to share with my community.
Yeah.
I am an agent with New York Life. I've been an agent for 3 years. I actually just made my 3-year contract, where now I'm an established agent. So no one look at over my shoulders anymore. They trust me.
Yeah,
they trust me.
right.
That means they can't do nothing.
Now they're my partner instead of
okay, good. That's like making partner in a law firm then, right?
Yes.
You met that $1 million mark. We're good.
So I mean, it's crazy because how I best explain how passionate I'm about sharing this information, I always use myself as an example. So I moved to California in like 7th or 8th grade, right?
From where? Where you from? Tell them.
I'm gonna get to that. Hold
Okay,
on.
all right, all right.
I moved to California in like 7th, 8th grade. It's about 8th grade. And so I'm the new kid in class. So of course they're asking me where you from, like you just said. Want to know where you from? Now this is also the first time I had 6 classes I had to go to.
Okay.
Where I'm from, you only had one teacher the whole day. You know what I mean? And that was it. You had that one class, and then PE.
Yeah.
You know, and whatever, arts and craft, whatever. So I'm at this new school at Realty Air in Sacramento. And they said, where are you from? So I'm from Brooklyn. I said, oh, you from New York? You know what I mean? You from New York? I was like, no, I'm from Brooklyn. I know New York. That's the Statue of Liberty. That's where Run DMC, MTV. You know what I mean? Back then, I'm old. So back then,
yeah.
I'm representing New York.
Right.
So I know I'm not from New York. So I go to all these classes. They tell me I'm from New York. And I get home to my mom and say, Mom, man, they trying to tell me I'm from New York. I tell them I'm from Brooklyn. They said from New York. I said, no, son, you're from East St. Louis, Illinois. Now, Brooklyn is a town inside of St. Louis, kind of like Del Paso Heights.
Right.
Like Citrus Heights, like Greenhaven.
Yeah.
But I've never left this town in my life, right? Never left this town.
So all you knew was Brooklyn.
All I know is Brooklyn because where I'm from, it's a very poor, dangerous town. Like we didn't have garbage trucks, so we burned our trash type town. So I see my first garbage truck when I moved to California. True story. So I thought St. Louis was over where the St. Louis Cardinals played, where the Arch was, basically where the rich people. I'd never been up. That's St. Louis to me. This is Brooklyn. Literally like someone living in the Heights, never been to Roseville or anything. That was me. Yeah. So when I started with New York Life, I felt like I was back in that box. Like, how am I in 8th grade not knowing where I'm from? Yeah. You know, how am I? So that's not learning. You only know what you're introduced to. Exactly. So when I started with New York Life, of course, not a whole lot of people look like me. Right. You know what I mean? Not a little people, even if they look like me, they didn't have my background. So the information that was being shared was going to one direction, but not going in my direction.
Right. Didn't fit your demographic. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's like
the keepers of the information.
Okay, when I die, my family gets enough money to bury me. I don't want to have a GoFundMe. Right. I don't want to have a car wash. It's always that thinking what life insurance is for.
Right.
You know, it's never about, okay, how do I create a legacy? How do I put my kids or somehow me in a position where they don't have to struggle or take the chances out to and being successful, whatever you do. It's just, you know, it's just they're not. So when I was sitting with people when I first started, they said, I'm good. They can just put me in a box. I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm covered. I got it through my job.
Because that's what we do.
I mean? And it's like, wow, it's just like, so then literally, no, the company I work for, I've been doing insurance 5 years, but I worked for another company 2 years before I started with New York Life. So that's really what it was like with some companies. It's like, boom, you pay them out, you know what I mean? So when I started with New York Life, true story, my first day there, I walk into the office and there's a lady sitting on the couch. I asked her, you need some help? I'm fine. And there's some birthday balloons on the counter. So I'm this new agent, want to be friends with everybody. So I'm going to each office. Whose birthday is it? You know, whose birthday is it? You know, somebody's birthday, right? I said, no, the lady up front, her son's turning 25 today. She's on his way down here to give him a $100,000 check. So I'm like, oh, his dad passed or someone passed? I said, no. She started a life insurance policy when he was 5 years old. He's turning 25. He didn't go to college, but he wanted to start his technology business. She's giving a $100,000 check from his life insurance policy.
Come on, somebody.
To start his business, bro.
Come on, somebody.
Share that knowledge.
Shit, man.
And I said, what?
Wow.
I mean, like she already
I can give that to my kids, right?
Yes. She already planned, like when he was 5, by putting a certain amount of money away. And it wasn't about the life insurance.
Right.
It wasn't about her thinking something's going to happen. It was about, how do I put a plan in place for when he does get of age, I can gift him. Because, you know what I mean, I can gift him a certain amount of money. And I was like, wow, there's living benefit to it.
Thanks. See, and see, we only thought that somebody can give us that money once we had a rich uncle that dies. Or it wasn't, we couldn't get a windfall like that living was from an insurance policy, paying on something. So that's, oh man, that's so profound.
And it's crazy that, you know what I mean, I heard you talk about Big Mama in the hood earlier, right? You know, they got Big Mama.
Yeah.
If you remember, Big Mama's always had insurance on all the kids.
All the kids. All the kids.
Hey, that life insurance man used to knock on the doors with short sleeve shirts on.
Right.
You know what I mean? An insurance man that walked to everybody's house and all that.
Yep.
And guess what? 20 years later, Big Mama living off those policies.
Yep. Yep. And we not
You
knowing
know,
why. But
and we
everybody
don't know
borrow
why.
money from Big Mama don't know where she getting it.
And a lot of big mama, they don't share that information because they don't want you asking them for nothing. So, but yeah, so that's really what my passion is now, is more about the education portion of it. Because I think the more we know about it, the more that we take it serious and don't look at it as a bill.
Yeah.
It's actually my savings account. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's basically my savings account on steroids.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I heard a gentleman before talk about investing in yourself.
Yes.
That's basically all it is. You're investing in yourself now so you can be in a better position later. You know what I mean? And if something happens to you before you get to your goal, your nest egg, your family's taken care of.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's really what it's about for me, you know.
Now
I
is
love
that,
Yeah.
tell me this, is that a life insurance policy that you use as saving, or is that whole life term? Like, what is that? What policy is that? What kind of is that, just briefly called?
All right. So I'll break it down how, remember I was in this class with people that come from banking background,
Yeah.
people that come from this. So I'm in here studying with them. So I said, how can I understand it in a way that people I'm sitting across are going to be able to understand it?
Exactly.
I'm having a problem.
Right. Break it down in layman terms.
Right. I'm college educated and I'm in there like, what?
Yeah.
Okay, break that down. And then so once I understood it, I'm able to talk to my people about it. So or people that, you know what I mean, who don't care about the complex words of anything. So basically this is how it breaks down. There's two different types of insurance. You have term insurance and you have whole life, right? Term insurance is just what it sounds like. It's for a period of time, which means it's a term, it expires. Right. So whether it be 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to, or even if you're employed. If you're employed, you have it on your job, it's for the term of your employment.
Right.
Correct.
Right. Okay.
Now, some companies, they will let you take it with you, but then when you take it with you, you start charging what the rate is that company charge. You no longer get the $15 rate.
Got it.
You no longer get that $10 rate. Now, you based off your age, you're paying whatever that company charge. And the company you probably don't know anything about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a term. Terms are very cheap. Reason why terms are cheap compared to whole life is because the banks look at it as a very good investment. The likelihood you pass from natural causes within 30 years is very less, very, very unlikely, because they did a blood test on you. They look at your medical history, say, no, you're healthy enough for 30 years. So they're extremely cheap because they don't expect to pay out on it, right? And it's for a period of time.
Right. They're just taking your payment.
Exactly. It's like car insurance, I call it. You know what I mean? Something gotta happen to get it.
Right.
You know? So then you have whole life. And it's just what it sounds like. It's for your whole life. Y'all see I had to break it down in my head?
Yeah, I like that. Hey, that's what we need here. Hey, college educated too, but I knew nothing about that, so I needed that. My whole
it's for your whole life. Now, whole lives are more expensive in terms because the bank know sooner or later it's not a matter of when they go pay. If they go pay, it's when they go pay.
Correct.
They know 2 out of 2 people go. We go no matter what.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So
everybody take that train.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the whole life is a lot more because it pays out over time, but also whole life builds cash value. Cash value is basically the dividends that the bank makes, that the company makes off the profit of, say you're paying $100 a month. They invest that $100 into the market. If the $100 make 5% with New York Life, for example, we'll give you 3 and we take 2.
Got it.
So then the dividends, every year we share that dividends, and that's when the cash increases.
Okay.
Based off however much you're contributing. So if you're with a company that, if you're paid, like my mom, once I started knowing about this, my mom had a $25,000 policy with this company, right?
Yeah.
And it was a smaller company, but she's had it for like, I think 8 or 9 years, almost 10 years, paying like almost $150 a month.
Wow.
So I'm like, you're pretty, do the math on that, you know what I mean? And you're 25,000, it's always 25,000.
Right. I mean,
you know what I mean? That's because they're not sharing those dividends. That company's maybe a stock company. That's a whole nother conversation I come talk about later.
Yeah.
But basically, they're not sharing the dividends, so you can then almost pay off your own policy. And so that's why a lot of people frown on life insurance. They're like, well, I can just put the money aside. Why am I gonna give it to you?
Yeah.
I might pay for my own funeral by the time I pay you off.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you have to know what type of insurance you have if they're sharing dividends, because what it costs to bury you today, it's not gonna cost that in 25 years.
Right.
Absolutely not. Right.
So you have to put it in a vehicle where it's going to at least grow with the economy.
So in 25 years, let's say you can take some of the cash, you can take the interest off the cash value and use that money.
Yes.
If you need to.
Just like the young lady, the lady who gave $100,000 to her son, she paid a certain amount per year over 20 years to where it built $100,000 of cash, where she can withdraw that $100,000 and give it to him, put it in the bank, or you could put it in your bank, buy a house, buy a car, because of dividend shares. Now, say for example, his life insurance is $400,000. She takes $100,000 out. That brings that life insurance portion down to $300,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, there's two different ways you can take cash out. You can take it out saying you're going to pay it back, or you can take it out saying you're not. When you say you're going to pay it back, then that's when the interest is involved. You hear people say, well, is there interest on it? Only if you're going to say you're going to pay it back.
Got it.
Where you don't want that amount, that you don't want that, you want to keep it at 400,000. Even though you took out 100,000, you want to keep it at 400,000.
Okay.
Then you're telling them you're going to pay that back. So then you have certain payments you got to pay over the years. So that's basically how that works.
Yeah.
But if you say, I just want to take it out, there's no tax. Another thing people don't realize. And
It's after tax dollars, right? That's invested into that policy.
Yeah. What you said again? I want to make sure.
I said, well, we're looking at after tax dollars that's investing into these policies, correct? So therefore,
Yes.
when you do go and withdraw the money, there's no additional taxes withheld.
Yes, ma'am. You could be an agent.
See?
That's exactly it.
See, that's why I got her, man. That's why I got her. She the brains of this operation.
Hey, because and that's why a lot of business owners love this, because they put the money in here from their business. They put the money into the account. The cash value grows, but the government can't tax life insurance, number one.
That's
no matter how much it grows. What do you mean? This is for my family. And number two, you already paid taxes on it because it's coming out your bank.
Correct. Absolutely. Funny thing is, New York Life did try to recruit me. I used to be an insurance agent.
Really?
But my focus was mainly on 403B annuities. So, I touched life insurance in some aspects, but majority of what I was doing was 403B retirement, specifically for teachers and professors.
That's where the money at. I'm see, that's the thing, but I'm still that series 6, 7. Whew.
Yeah.
So that's it. So it's so much stuff you can do, man, that, I mean, I love the way people's eyes light up when I sit across from them and I show them.
Yeah.
And then when they realize how cheap it is at the same time.
Right.
Yeah,
It's an eye opener.
We just lit up today. We just lit up today, man.
I think we did.
Sure.
I think we did. Yeah.
And our listeners got some nuggets. Demond, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can, all your handles, information, everything.
I am on Facebook, Desmond Owens. Also, my email is dowens02@ft.newyorklife.com. And that's the best ways to contact me.
We're going to put it up on our page as well. We'll put it up on when we share the episode. So thank you so much, Demond, for coming today, man. Thanks for all this information, man.
Yes,
I love it.
you.
Life insurance.
Right.
I just learned this, so I just bought mine a few years ago, and I can't wait. Now I'm going to see if anybody in my family got something on them so I can get some money.
Yeah.
I need
$100,000.
My parents would have gave me $100,000when I was 25. They didn't give me nothing.
Right.
Strings, jelly beans. I got their old suitcase. They gonna give me their old luggage.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We appreciate you sharing with our listeners. We appreciate you sharing with your community.
Yeah.
Like Steph has said, the Black community, when it's something that they're not aware of, they don't know about it, they kind of shy away from it. So I like it when. So now it's your duty to share it with your community to make sure that they are educated about it, because like you said, we're all talking about growth generation after generation now. So it's starting with us because we weren't taught that.
Yeah.
So now that we have the means at the tip of our fingers, we need to start that for our families, for ourselves. So thank you so much.
Yes, no problem.
Hence, you start a podcast and get Demond on and talk about it. That's what I did. That's what I did. Understand me?
Right.
I'll be thinking. Demond, thank you, man. Thank you, man. It's been a pleasure, man. Have a good one.
All right, you guys.
Stay blessed. Thank you so much. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Peace. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, boss.
All right. Hey, Kristy. Man,
Yes,
today's episode was informative and educational, wasn't it?
I mean, you know what? It's almost mind blowing when you think about how cheap it is to start a business, right?
Yeah.
The amount of things you can do to save money, the amount of things about even life insurance that most people didn't even know about.
Yep.
And it's accessible to everybody.
Write things off. I write everything off. I buy water for taping this podcast. I wrote it off. You understand me? Because I'm taping.
Absolutely.
I'm drinking it during the podcast. That's right.
Yeah.
IRS man ain't gonna get me. So this has been Off the Change episode 4. We love y'all. We want to thank Rodney Perry. We want to thank Rodney Ferrell. We want to thank Alex. We want to thank Desmond Owens. Evolution. What was it? Evolution.
Evolution Accelerator.com.
Evolution Accelerator.com. Y'all know I'm dyslexic. Anyway, We got Sharon in the building, a serious production.
Woo!
Thank you so much,
Always.
Sharon. Every week he does this for us. Kristy, my love, my dynamic co-host. Thank you so much, Olympia Queen. This has been Off the Change again. Y'all get with us this next episode and tell a friend, share, subscribe. Offthechange.com. Offthechange@gmail.com. Offthechange@gmail.com. I am Steph Sanders everywhere. And Kristy, now tell them where you at.
I'm Kristy Nong. You can find me on IG, Foodie Nong. FOODIENONG. Hit me up. Follow me.
I love
Follow
it.
us.
I love it. I love it. And of course, the Off the Change moment for the week was what?
Woo!
Storming the Capitol. And
that's domestic terrorism. I don't care what anybody says.
Domestic terrorism at its highest form. And if it had been BLM people, we already know what would have happened. On that note, I'm out. Peace. See y'all later. Thank y'all very much.